works.
And the only thing that works right now could have been Braxis, but that's banned.
Yeah, it's banned.
I think Ballistics, they have to maybe this is a chance where they have to really go back all the way. Maybe go BOE, grab Hanzo, and just let few other picks through, and then make something work. Because right now, just banning the top tier heroes out of there,
it's not
certainly
working.
not working. And just you can't just ban Irel, Hammer, and everything together. And when you go to BOE, you have to think about Li Ming as well.
That's right.
A lot to ban, a lot to take. What kind of choice do you make? I think because they're likely going to have the first pick. They don't know the map. I think maybe choosing the map over the first pick and going with some kind of drafting strategy. I think that's what they need right now.
Well, it is going to be a Gen.G map choice, and it is going to be Sky Temple as what could be our final map. All the red maps seem to be Gen.G victories. It's almost like they have great strategies planned for each one of these battlefields, and I'm sure Sky Temple will be no different. But I like what you said, G-Clef. Maybe you need to open things up a little bit. Leave a few of these strong picks open. Make it a little bit crazy and see what falls through. But of course, as far as drafting goes, Noble S is the best, and he does give his team huge advantages, has been all series long. Maiev, first ban out there, so not going to let that one through. Should still see Genji and Tyrande banned, but what else gets taken off the field? It's always been a tank, so it's going to be Diablo. So you would imagine that if things just keep going standardly, then Gen.G would ban Tyrande and give... oh no, going with his Zeratul. So letting that through and giving Ballistix the opportunity to take one of the strongest rework heroes in the current meta, but they over-prioritize.
Okay. I actually like this choice better than Tyrande. Tyrande is really strong, of course. He's going to be certainly picked. There's no other way. But Ballistix grabbing Hanzo, I think that's what was needed from the first game. Finally, they want to try something else. As you can see from SC, he's on a rage mode. And when he's on that rage mode on a Hanzo, even if you try to go over the moment you try to go over the wall, it hits the turret, bounces off, and kills you.
I actually have not seen that from anyone but him, so I don't know if that's just his signature or what, but maybe that's the potential coming out. And still very strong drafting here from Ballistix, even though they do give up that Tyrande and the power pick for Gen.G, the Rainer. They get Deckard, they get Anubarak, both heroes that have been banned before.
Tyrande is really strong, but that's how desperate Ballistix is right now in terms of their DPS drafting. They want to go for their old ones, the comfort ones. They grab their Deckard because of that too.
Okay, so banning out the Garrosh, that does, I guess, leave a few options open for tanks. I mean, obviously, you could just go straight for like the safety Muradin. We saw ETC in the last game, it just didn't do quite what it needed to. I actually saved that tank pick for last.
Because if they reveal already, they can bring something like the Taikas once again. And just burst down. They don't have a Diablo, but even against some other tank like a Muradin, that is always a possibility. And this makes SD think, which one should I really go?
No surprise on the Blaze, but the Li Ming is kind of surprising that it made it this far down in the draft. Super strong on Sky Temple, obviously, and I mean, it's going to be a big source of strength, theoretically, for Ballistix, but what are we saving for last pick here? Gen.G, do they have something up their sleeves?
Test the one on camera. I said ETC works with Irel. Trapping down, leaving Hanzo is actually really tough. Power Slide, not enough range, not even close. And that's also a reason why the Ballistix dropped game 2. Tyrael in this case might just be Judgment. I can kind of feel the Planet Cracker Judgment Tyrande CC coming. And Irel will just dive in. I can kind of smell it here already.
It's been a while since I've seen Judgment being picked. I mean, also, Tyrael's not the most popular, but SD, too precious for this world with those emotes. And his fans, of course, doing a good job making him look good. But
and that cat is only getting smaller every single time we have the games. Gen.G just super dominant over 2 games. Can they do it again and close out the series? We're jumping into game 3, Sky Temple. And they still have Irel. Kyocha's Irel. Who can stop Irel?
I mean, we meme about Urel, by the way, right? But it is just so strong when being piloted by a player who is so good at it. Of course, Kyocha fits that bill perfectly. So let's get into game number 3 at G-Clef. We are potentially 1 game away from closing out this series. Gen.G have looked dominant. Can they continue their rampage against Ballistix? You know, Ballistix have their share of championship experience. They have gone the distance so many times before, but Gen.G just seem unstoppable with the little asterisk of to anybody but Miracle.
Tyrael is not a favorite pick for TTSST at all. Even when Tyrael was in the meta, he would play lots of Johanna even. And this is not a game where they need a real good sanctification. Just a little bit, but it's really hard to really grab everyone together as a 5-man.
And you may not even want to be together as a 5-man because you group up for the Sank, right? And either it ends or, you know, Decker just like walks up, like, oh, what? Would you like to hear a story? And then you just kind of stay there a little bit too long. I want to see the judgment.
I think it's also because the throw pit, he wanted some control with the holy ground because they didn't really have too many. They have Kyocha's hammer. That's about it in terms of the placement. Displacement off the boss pit there.
Okay, let's keep an eye on the early rotations. Tist and SC kind of ships passing the night as I think SC might have some trouble here. He and Magi have to run for the hills, run for their lives, and head back out of there, giving away their camp.
They're feeling it after dropping 2 games. Can we actually beat them? Should not be that should not be the mindset, but that's actually how you feel when you go into a game like that. Look at that. When you're pressured this much,
you're like feet behind your turret, and you're still taking all this damage. It's crazy. They've already broken through the first wall down there, and now they just back up, rotate again for even more advantages.
So there has to be a turnaround, and only themselves can make it. Continue to communicate. Hooligan today. It's been really hard for him to make an engage. Catching one off lane. Ooh, SD's caught, and that's a deadly meme.
Oh, yeah, really questionable positioning there. Maybe looking to rotate, or I'm not totally sure about that. But yeah, getting caught, getting picked off, giving away these little tiny opportunities to Gen.G. It's more than they need.
Scary Gen.G.
It is scary.
They were not as this crisp in the previous weekend, but today, because they have really this one's very important. Next one's versus Blossom.
Exactly.
And they want to go straight. Their CEO's here.
That's
they
right.
want to look good too.
They did say that he is watching, so of course they always want to make that look good. And with BlizzCon on the line and guaranteeing their qualification, that is of course what matters most to the team.
Sake on Tyrande. Show how strong he is. And Kyocha Irel once again. Actually, Gen.G contesting for both.
Yeah, they are not.
When Raynor is actually at the bottom, and which was seen by Ballistix as well.
Not content to get anything else. Rich pushing so that the wave will crash against the wall, and then returning, shoving that down. So that means that Ballistix has to kind of withdraw just a little bit to get down there and shove that wave out so the camp doesn't take out their wall.
Yeah, that is the power of Irel. And because she can just act like a tank and sustain so well.
Look at Reset. This is the forward offensive Raynor, right? He didn't even have Tist coming in there in the very beginning. He's still going forward. Now he, Tist, and Rich all pushing forward. Sake going to come up, of course, for the moral support. There's going to be one dead fort left.
Ballistix, they do get a lot done in the top. But Kyocha's still harassing that Blaze so much. I think it's I'm kind of happy that we don't have that on screen because it's way too
sad.
way too violent.
Ugh. We have to keep this a family show. To hide that from the delicate eyes.
Oh yes, Rapids, we gotta make it to Disney.
Yep. I'm not allowed to watch that. When I was growing up and we had to watch Ballistix versus Gen.G, my parents would cover my eyes. They didn't let me. But now I'm older. I can watch some questionably rated plays like this from Gen.G.
Yes.
They just make it look so graphic. Every time they go in, it looks so good. Look at that, a multi-man stun from that player. Wow, okay.
That, oh, later on. Let's just move on.
Yeah. So
They get the wall, but they don't really get the fountains for the next temple. Phase at the bottom, Ballistix not in a bad position actually. Even though it seemed like they're pushed really far in.
Yeah, but they hold on against their fort in the mid lane. They don't give it up for free, and even though they're losing walls down bottom, I mean, they're still pushing out the wave. It's Roy Rayner has to go down there, shove it right back in. Li Ming will make the rotation. I think they know it, and we're looking to catch SD out again for the second time, but couldn't quite grab him.
Yeah, they would love to, but with just Li Ming, oh, look at that. Very wishful thinking that you can catch Irel.
Yeah, 3-4 men committed, and nothing off of it. It's still still gonna be a fort coming their way, and so that I believe is the first objective of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, and Hearth denied by Kyocha. That's because Gen.G opened the wall. It takes a longer time for Ballistix to actually even do damage, and look at that. Look, material sanctification locked in.
All right, so it is not going to be the judgment. He is going
to
to
keep himself alive.
It seemed like a momentary reflex saying, oh, I need Sank now.
Yes, because, not just because, they have the temp right after. When Tyrael's dead, it's going to take a long time, but Sank is already used, so win-win for Ballistix. Without the sanctification, Gen.G is going to have a hard time pressuring in. They need a lot of poke. So it seems like they just want to contest, and Irel pushing down that middle fort there.
Yeah, you're almost kind of a one-man army. I mean, Kyocha, he just really does it all. And he's opening up so much pressure for the rest of his team. You can see Rich is able to rotate bottom, doesn't even need to be up there in the mid lane because Kyocha's already shoved it out. No need to be there. Li Ming gonna be late to the party down here to the Southern Temple.
Kyocha's back, grabbing the final few shots.
Attempted engage there by Hooligan, but he can't make it happen. Nice scroll, but doesn't catch anyone. Here comes the Hyperion, and Jung-Ah, even with that.
Nice cocoon just to keep themselves alive. That Sabo was going to be a kill onto Hooligan.
Yep. I mean, it's well used, right? But it's still only like the way that they save themselves on the retreat, right? They're not able to find anything off of it. They lose the temple. They're going to lose more structure health because of it.
Yeah, not as an engaging tool to make it a 5v4 and then initiate on their own.
Yes.
But at least they keep themselves safe. So as a trade for the heroics there, I would say. But they lose the final few shots, which is not too bad for Ballistix because they got almost a 3/4 out of that. The real problem, post 13, when just as Holy Ground, who's going to win the boss war.
Well, I mean, you talk about all of the crazy shenanigans that can happen when you jump in the pit of doom. I mean, when the early game looks like this, and you have things like the Holy Ground, like every level advantage, macro advantage for Gen.G, it only goes from bad to worse here. Now, an attempted catch here on Atiz, trying to lock him down. Not even close.
Tyrael does not listen to old guys.
No, he does not. He's, in fact, perhaps even older than Deckard.
They were trying to, before 13, before Holy Ground, they were and plus, they were trying to get the sanctification off because it's the perfect spot to have sanctification. To fight for the boss. Did not happen. Counter engage from Kyocha. They hit 13.
Yeah, and Kyocha able to start the fight and finish it, backing off, saying, no, we are or are not going to fight. He dictates it. And now they are maybe contesting boss here, but I mean, there's more going on, right?
Blaze is all the way up top, so Gen.G now they have a chance. Without Bunker, Hanzo, Deckard deleted. They have sanctification.
Well, Well, here comes Blaze. He is making his rotation down with the boss already below half HP. Do Gen.G want to continue this?
Over to the other side. Hanzo's now here, focusing on the ridge, but there's a CC. Meanwhile, Kyoto's coming up from the side.
This is right there. No orb hitting, so the damage from Li Ming has yet to really come into full effect here. Even though the boss may not be the focus, Gen.G have other plans. They don't need to go for the boss. They can use it as pressure, but they're still totally fine when it comes to the actually just laning. You look at Phoenix, he's already up there at the top temple ahead of schedule.
Yeah, and not just top temple, the fort was damaged quite significantly, and it's going to go down from the camp they had this entire time. And Gen.G still holds. Pretty big lead.
Hooligan, man, Hooligan and Jung,
he's feeling it. He's not feeling.
Yeah.
It's the moment where he says, Mr. Rapid at G-Clef, I don't feel too good.
He starts fading away. Half the hope for Ballistix.
Focus on Tyrael once again. Missed the arrow. The perfect time to counter-engage from Kyocha.
That's exactly what they do. Hyperion coming through. Sake damage to the back along with Reset, the range DPS, the front line. Everything working well for Gen.G. Kyocha front lining again. Gets the knockback there with the Righteous Hammer. And Ballistix are just desperately trying to run. They look for the turnaround or the disengage there with that stay a while, but it only just buys them precious seconds. And behind this, Gen.G can back off and take the temple.
And the Barak Decker, they have to go all the way back there to tap onto the fountain. They will re-engage. Sanctification is down, and they want to focus. Most of the tools from Gen.G is down, are the defender as well, and they have Li Ming. All they need is one kill. One single kill to turn this game around.
See if they can find it. I don't know, G-Clef. It certainly seems like Gen.G are just able to dictate the pace of every single fight, every single engagement. Sure, the takedown of that temple is good, but I mean, what does it get them? It gets them a fort.
That's still not a bad one, but Gen.G, they see clear on the map. Okay. We took some shots, still the top temple stands. So we can just rotate, maintain macro, and then go to the top temple. By that time, our heroics will be back. So before that time comes, Ballistix trying new. But Hanzo burns down the scatter. Phoenix is now coming.
The boss still very, very low.
Early holy ground by Tis, so they're gonna take it over.
Yeah, and here comes Stay a While. It does actually catch Reset there, so he's forced to back off. But I think now the re-engage is going to look even stronger. Kyocha dies, and the boss is still theirs.
He's still the boss. Sanctification just now back on cooldown. Hooligan, I think he used the borrow charge. So there's no more escape for him. Magi can self-heal, but that's everything that he can do. The early holy ground, the moment that was on, first I actually thought, okay, Ballistix, they have a good chance of taking this boss and win the team fight because they were winning the poke war. No other defender at the time, but Irel actually sacrificed herself as an aggro tool.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's an important realization. You know, we make jokes about how hard Irel is to kill, but if you commit to killing Kyocha, it just buys the rest of his team so much in that fight. They take the boss, even though they lose their solo laner, and they get so much because of it, crushing into that heat.
And now 2-level gap was won right before the boss fight. Mysteries. After mysteries. With Ballistix, they think they have one good answer, or a bunch of other questions that are being asked by Gen.G's team fight.
What are the questions you want to ask, G-Clef?
To which team?
Ballistix.
Why?
I thought that was why or how. Two big things I want to hear answers to from them. You know, why are they making the decisions that they are, and how do they plan on coming back? Because I mean, that just has to be the hardest question to answer in the world right now for Ballistix. Also, what, when, where, if. Other questions along those lines, but those two quite at the top of my mind.
Yeah,
so
still top temple was there the entire time. They were fighting over the boss, and Gen.G focusing on to the second keep now, and members of Ballistix coming around.
They're looking for the flank.
They realize
a great angle. Can Jung and Hooligan find the engage they've been missing all game
They want to go near the camp because there's the spell shield plus They take less damage from Leaping Shot, not just because of that. They have a gigantic wave that's going to block all those missiles. Great choice to actually go for that wave there.
Yeah, the teams have kind of tog-waggled here. They've swapped sides, and maybe they'll be able to switch back around. But here we go. Ballistix looking for the engage. Immediately Hyperion comes down. Ballistix, or Hooligan rather, gets blown apart. Look at that. Stay a while. Oh my god, it sleeps everybody. But when they wake up, it's a nightmare.
SD does not find the kill. Sanctification comes down. Arrow misses barely from that Phoenix.
Oh.
If that connected, I don't think it was going to be still a kill because of the Sanctification, but it could have been a better situation looking for a kill onto Rich. But with this team fight, I think we might just see the ending very soon of the series.
That was the fight, right, G-Clef? Such a good setup by Ballistix, but still, Gen.G come out on top.
As long as Rich survives, they can sustain all day. It's harder to get reset because he has his self-healing. And Tyrande does have heal, but it's not as instant. Year 20, Gen.G controls a macro.
2-level lead, objective control, keep down in the bottom lane, so Hanzo has to go down there and shove it out. There's double camps pushing down there, so I mean that's really just going to take every bit of focus that they can offer just to hold down that bottom lane. And this is Sky Temple, right? They don't even have to push into the base.
Nope.
Gen.G can stay back, play passive macro games, and they will win this series.
They're so pressured out into their side of the map that you can't go near the temple. Hooligan cut outside a little bit, takes a lot of damage, but goes out with the forward charge. Gocha takes some aggro.
Righteous Hammer to disengage.
This may be their final chance, so they're pressuring this before Gen.G hits 20.
I think Gen.G are too elusive, G-Clef. They could just dictate the pace. Do they want to fight? Do they not want to fight?
Does not hurt as much when they have all the shields.
Ballistix, they're trying to catch Urel. I'm just like, the best case scenario there is just so much of an outlier. They can't catch anyone.
Look at them just doing nothing near that wall.
Yeah.
Like, 20 is hitting. 20 is coming soon, guys. We don't even have to do a thing.
Not only 20, but 25 seconds left until that top temple is activated. And man, it just feels like Gen.G are just going to head straight to there. Maybe they just don't go anywhere else on the map. They put 5 heroes up on the top. They want to win that way. Obviously, they can't give up quite that much positioning, but Ballistix are still looking for another fight. They're flanking around the other side, but this almost making me a little bit too late. Bunker drop, Jungha very low. Raynor is dead. The cocoon does land on Material, so he's not able to get in there with his tank.
There's a 20 shield. The Reach will survive on extra CC, but they're not focusing on the Rich anymore. There's a Sanctification. They are going to be wiped from this moment on. Jungha barely surviving.
Gonna pick up some potions and heal back up, but can they get back to base in time? Magi's healing everybody else, and finally will get some of his own, but it's not gonna be enough. He gets Avenging Wrath down, and I guess Tyrael did get the final kill credit, but Gen.G, I thought that was gonna be the fight that they lose after Raynor gets blown apart, but nope, they find a way to turn it around in the end.
Boss, they can just send the boss, top temple, get the second keep, damage the third keep. Because they actually got a kill on Creator, they can still force 4 on core, but it's not going to be as comfortable. Ballistix trying their last minute SDE. He needs to have some super clutch play here.
We'll see. SC just getting kind of zoned by Kyocha. He's just getting completely zoned out of the fight. The bunker is down, but I mean, Jungha is still just way too low. We're seeing if SDE can get the resets he needs, but I think his team are the one being reset on.
And that's the end of story, and Raynor may find Li Ming. I think back home?
No, wow. Too sneaky. Secret agent. Wearing the ghillie suit. Stealth from the glass.
And boss comes. Phoenix is dead, but they got Raynor. Pretty late game before Ballistix hit 20. They will be looking to close out this game.
At this point, Gen.G can almost just turn into spectators, right? Just let the boss go forward to kill the core.
So Sake.
Okay, Sake.
Close enough, but not 100% close.
Yeah, still alive. Tyrande, by the way, able to get out. The cocoon even still does not work out very well. And here comes Gen.G with a vengeance. SDE teleports away at just the last possible second. with Hyperion, the boss, and all 4 members of Gen.G crashing into the core. It will fall, and with it, Gen.G will claim a 3-0 victory
and
over
they
Ballistix.
qualify for BlizzCon spot. They are going to BlizzCon for sure 2018.
Yep, that's what that fan sign was saying. You know, essentially, BlizzCon is theirs, and for Ballistix, for Tempest, maybe Miracle and Blossom, they will have to fight it out for that 2nd place spot, perhaps the 3rd spot, which is just going to be so difficult to achieve.
They still have one more match versus Blossom.
Yep.
But with this rate, I don't think they will be dropping any games versus Blossom.
I think if they look like this, they could play Miracle 10 times and beat them every time. I mean, this Gen.G is some of the best that we've seen all year long, and if they look this scary here, I mean, going into BlizzCon, you have to know that they have their sights set on the victory there as well.
Yeah. Today, Gen.G looked like concrete. You could not find a single crack.
They looked like titanium. They looked like vibranium.
Diamonds against jellies here.
You know, the first enemy that you fight in a lot of RPGs is like the slime. That's what Ballistix looked like.
Is that real? 44K from Irel? What on earth is happening right now from Kyocha? And I mentioned going into game 2, going into game 3, that has to be stopped. Kyocha's Irel? Ban-worthy first ban? Yes, I think so. I would rather have Genji on the other side.
I mean, we've seen Genji.
Compared to Kyocha's Irel.
Genji lost the other day, didn't it?
No, Genji won.
He did win. He
Yes,
lost.
yes.
It was, when was the last time Genji lost? It was part 1,
yeah,
right?
part
It was
one.
part 1 when Feliz picked it and they lost with it. So, yeah, I don't know what you have to let through, right? You were actually saying maybe the draft just looks too solid. You have to let everything through and just get as many strong heroes as you can.
Yeah, sometimes when you have Irel on the other side, if you make a DPS line tanky enough like Tychus, it's possible to chunk Irel down. When you have Hanzo, Li Ming, those two, if you focus perfectly, have all your skill shots onto Irel, might actually not be enough to kill her. And when she has Ardent Defender, can you really focus all your damage all day?
Yeah, I mean, all she has to do is just look down at the keyboard and just find that R button, you push it, and you're good. Okay.
Yeah, really strong hero in this meta. Not invincible, of course, but she certainly has a lot of ways of damaging the other heroes.
That is true. She protect and attack. Many different options there for Urel. To be honest, we make memes about Urel, but Kyocha specifically, an incredible player. No matter which hero he plays, but specifically his Urel just looks too strong.
Yeah, mastery level really high. I think that's the reason why we have to think about going into next week. We do have a break because of our Thanksgiving.
Yep,
guys.
Korean Thanksgiving's
Our
coming up.
week 10 will be 2 weeks after, not next weekend.
And that's a little bit of a break. Obviously, our players will be kind of going home to spend that time with their families and celebrate one of the biggest traditional Korean holidays. So it's not like they'll just be in the lab practicing nonstop, but that does give them some time off to kind of reboot and prepare for the final week of HGC.
But it is a 3-0 and the 3-0. Gen.G looking scary as ever. Seems like right now how they played today, it seems like they can actually take the entire BlizzCon. Once again, just like the mid-season brawl.
I mean, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, right, G-Clef?
But I want to get ahead because they were really good today.
I said that before mid-season brawl. I was just like, well, they could go all the way, and then they're undefeated. It's like, oh, wow, they are actually just so good.